Hi, what's your name?
My name is Sarinder Jawant Dhut.
Okay.
And I'm the daughter of Amar Jawant Dhut and Jawant Singh Dhut.
Okay, and where and when were you born?
I was born July the 10th, 1939 at the King's Daughters Hospital in Duncan, BC.
Okay, and what generation Canadian are you? Like, were your parents born in India?
My parents were born in India, yes.
So you
I'm
are
first
a first generation Canadian. Okay, okay. And what do you know about your family's immigration story, history, and story? Yeah, and like how did they come to Canada? Who sponsored them? And who made the decision to immigrate? Things like those. Can you share something about that?
Well, I would say that my grandfather, my dad's father, Jawant Singh, came to America, and from America he came into Canada in 1913. And my father came out at the age of 16, and he had just married my mother previous to that. And then my mother came out in 38. I was born in 39, and they moved to Caldy. They lived in Caldy, where my father and grandfather and uncle Terlochin, my father's younger brother, who was 16 at the time when we arrived with them. He was, they all worked at Mayo, Lumber, or Hillcrest, I think Mayo mostly. Off and on, my father would take a little side project, and he moved to Haney at one time, and started a little mill with at Mr. Mayo's brother or cousin, and sorry, I can't remember his name.
No problem.
Yeah. But anyways, he was there in Haney for a while, then he came back to Caldy and worked again. And then in 1945 or 46, they moved to Duncan and bought a little piece of property. And he had a mill, which he started a year previously while living in Caldy, in Copasila. And he had a logging camp up on Mount Sahalem.
Okay.
And this was a successful little business, but unfortunately there was a horrific accident on Mount Sahalem in 1948. February 26th, his logging truck ran over him. Unfortunately, he told his accountant to stay in the truck as they were coming down the steep hill from Mount Sahalem, and he jumped and lost his balance, and the truck ran over him. His ashes are in quality at the pier, at the fire on most of the tracks there. And from there, my family, my uncle tried to, both uncles, Jagat Singh, who had come back from India for a short time, him and my uncle, Terlochin Singh, and my grandpa tried to get the company going again, but my uncle Terlochin Singh died in Vancouver a year later in a car accident in June of 1949. And from there, it was a struggle for Mom, and she persevered. We all got through school, and Bapu lived at our house. Bapu Jawant Singh, Dad's father, and she went to work at Cowichan District Hospital. We all managed, married, had children, grandchildren. Mother kept the property up until 20, until she passed away in 2003, and my brother took it over, Ranjit Singh, and she passed away December 29th, 2003, where she was living at the on Sherman Road, close to the temple, the new temple that had been built there, on the property that Mr. Dodd had now subdivided, a property that he had subdivided and had built garden homes,
Okay.
enclosed gated community.
Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting story you just told us. And I also want to ask you, like you mentioned to me that
There's much more, of course, I could say, but
Yeah.
you know, this is as short as I can make it
yeah,
right
no,
now.
no problem. I also want to ask you next is that, like you were mentioning, you were basically you were raised up in Paldi, right?
Until I was 7 years old. Yes.
Okay, so do you have any recollections about Paldi?
The most wonderful years of my life. I loved Paldi. To this day, if the community was still there, I would be living there.
No, that's
I
really
miss the love and the togetherness the whole community had. We were all one family, the Bawas, the Lashmans, the Domans, Mayos. Mrs. Mayo was just one beautiful lady. She was like a mother hen to everybody, and she made sure everybody was happy, no matter whether you're white, Japanese, East Indian. No, it was just a beautiful community.
it's very beautiful.
Very beautiful. And made sure when all our families came out, mothers, brothers, sisters, or anybody else's mothers, brothers or sisters came out, there was a house for them right there. Yes.
So then,
A community that I wish that could be rebuilt,
Yeah.
and that we could all have the old sidewalks back, the old houses back, replicas,
Yeah.
with modern conveniences, of course.
yeah,
It
I
was
guess
a
a lot of hope
beautiful,
people
it was a
wish
beautiful
that,
place
yeah.
to live. Anybody from Lake Cowton, Victoria, Vancouver would love to come and visit this little Indian community with other ethnic groups around. Yes.
Very nice, very nice.
Yes.
And so then after that you moved to Duncan?
I married in 1961, and I
No,
moved
like you
to
were mentioning that till you were 7, you were in Paldi, right?
Oh, yes.
So
When
what
I was
after that?
the year that I turned 7, we moved to. My dad had bought a property on Drinkwater Road, which is Paddle Road now, of 3.5 acres, and lived there until I married, until I was 20,
Okay.
21. Yeah. And I lived there until then, but the property was there right up into, in the family up until this year, earlier this year, or last year, excuse me.
Okay.
And my brother just sold it because the area is becoming quite dense, and there's a lot of commercial properties that are, I mean, a lot of residential properties which are being sold for commercial properties now.
Okay. And
Walmart is there on
Okay.
Drinkwater Road.
yeah.
Yes.
So the next thing I want to ask you is that how was it for you to grow up as a person of a Punjabi descent in on the island, and like all the cities that you've lived in after Paldi?
After Paldi, well, to be honest with you, a lot of people talk about prejudice. I did not encounter prejudice in high school. There were just 4 of our East Indian families at that time. When we moved to Duncan, that was the Domans, and the Lashmans came later, and the Bawas came shortly after we did. Karm Singh and his family were already here on First Street. I think they always lived in Duncan. They never lived in Paldi. But to me, I really didn't know what prejudice was. We didn't have it. I went into grade 1. I didn't encounter any difference. All my friends were very obliging, and we all got along to this day from grade 1, and I am now this age, and I'm still in contact with my old friends who are all good. Yes, and
That's
good.
very nice to hear. Yeah,
And
that's good.
but when I did move to Victoria, I found it a little bit awkward after I married, because it was a different scenario here in Victoria.
Okay. Can you tell us something more about that?
Well, I married and I had my children, and unfortunately the marriage didn't last, and then I remarried, and a doctor, Dr. Patterson, and we moved to Souk, and we were married for 27 years. And he passed away. He was a little bit older than I was, but passed away in 1999, excuse me, January 1999. A year before that, my son, from my first marriage, he had a brain injury at the age of 29. And to this day, he is still suffering from that brain injury and from a lot of emotional impacts that he encounters, and which we did not realize that he had suffered so much. And I have two daughters who have one daughter, older daughter has two children, and my younger daughter has one daughter. And I lost a daughter at the age of 17 to a brain tumor in 1982.
Sorry to hear that. Next thing I want to ask you is that did you, like when you were growing up, did you and the community in general at that time used to celebrate Indian festivals like Diwali, Vaisakhi, or anything of that sort?
Oh yes, Vaisakhi was very important to us.
Yeah.
And so was the Paldi Jod Mela.
Okay, can you tell us something more about the Paldi Jod Mela?
The Paldi Jod Mela was an event to behold. We had so much fun. We looked forward to that Paldi Jod Mela. As children, would gather around the Mayo house, and all our mothers would be there cutting onions, splitting the peas. The gardens were so bountiful and plentiful. Everybody shared their garden of the produce, and it was all in front of Mrs. Mayo's home, or the Mayo home. All the children gathered there. They had a little swimming pool for the children. They had a swing for the children to swing around. They had a nice big yard that we all played in, while all the women sat around the porch and did their peeling and their cutting and the potatoes and getting the children involved to help with all this. This was all before a Jod Mela or some event that was going to happen. Yes, we had one of the best Jod Melas ever. And to this day, the Jod Mela is still going on. Unfortunately, it's not as large. I would love to have more people coming in, but
so what
memories are
so,
beautiful.
So when is it celebrated? Like what day? What date of the year?
Jod Mela was always celebrated the last week of June or the first week of July.
Oh, okay. Very nice. Very nice. And like what about other festivals?
Well, they have the Baliwan Christmas. I mean, they have the Christmas little Mela. What do you call it? What do you call it? The Wallis, not the Wallis in
the October, November.
Well, no, in December always there was the Guru Nanak's birthday.
Yes, the Gurpurab.
And the Paldi Temple always had a big festival.
Oh, okay.
Have a big, like a nice little carnival.
No problem.
And the Vaisakhi was every year. Paldi supplied a bus for anybody who wanted to go to Vaisakhi in Victoria, which was a great event also. It was a great gathering. There's one big family that went on the bus. Like I said, Nala got the Malahab. We had a big stopover for ice cream on the way back. And believe it or not, in May 24th was also a big deal. Paldi would send a bus to Nanaimo so we could enjoy the celebrations of the May 24th weekend in Nanaimo. And there was a park there. All the ladies made rotias, like alwani rotias and katta and sag. And we'd meet at that park there after the parade. We had a great picnic, and then the bus would take us back to home. In the summertime, there were gatherings to River Bottom. And the bus was supplied there too. Every summer, River Bottom was a picnic time too. Everybody in Paldi would go swimming. My dad had a crummy truck, and some would be riding with him, and others who had vehicles, they would go on their own. But yes, we were Paldi as a community. I wish was back again.
Yeah, no, it's really good to hear that, and I think many people would wish that it. You know.
Oh yes, yes. And Joan has done a terrific job. Joan Mayo has done a terrific job of getting us all back together again, and trying to preserve something that we really need to remember. And we'd like to preserve it again. Like I said, I'd like to see the old sidewalks. I love the old wooden sidewalks.
And you know, to add to that, in your opinion, like what do you think are the important places of significance in this area and region that have a lot of historical significance regarding with the South Asian community? Like Paldi is of course one big example of that. But what other places?
That need to be, I think Masachi Lake or Hillcrest is a vital part to our community. Yubo, if you're talking about the island only.
Yeah.
And of course Victoria. I mean, you have Plumper Bay sawmills, and the families there, they employed many of the Victoria residents there too. Many of the Victoria residents, like the Lobcourse families, they were significant to Paldi too, because they all live in the Paldi Hillcrest area. Yeah, the Dillon family. But I can't. I can't remember who else actually lived down there other than Lobcourse family. I think maybe Railcourse family, they have Chris Darlin, and now Muriel Sunder lived up there for a while in Paldi, and worked up here, or Hillcrest area.
Okay.
But then again, Victoria was a different community. There was a lot of the Indians, East Indians there, they had their own little logging and little trucking businesses.
Okay.
And then, of course, there was Khalid Baines, who had the travel agency, who was very, very significantly involved with the Indian community and helped very, very many.
Okay. Well, another question I want to ask you is that, how are the relations of the Punjabi community with the other communities? Say the Aboriginal people, the Japanese community, or
With the Japanese, I think the relationships are very good. In the early days, yes. But after they were sent away encamped. Believe it or not, Paldi was still open to them when all was resolved. And they did come back and they worked and helped in Paldi again. They had a tough time.
And how was the relation with the Aboriginal people?
My father had a few Aboriginal people that worked for him, and I thought it was good. They were quite a happy group of people, and at that time were very happy and willing to work. I think the change with the Aboriginal people came in the early 60s. But before that, I don't think there was really much of a problem. There wasn't a problem. I mean, we intermingled with them in high school. We were all good friends. Everyone did well in high school. I don't know what happened. But the relationships in my childhood were good.
Okay. Anything else you want to share? Add to your story?
We've all changed. We've lost parents who have worked so hard and left such a great legacy. It makes me sad that they're not here to see a lot of them aren't here to see what's happened. But if it wasn't for them, just like any nationality, the Dutch, the Polish people, the Hungarians, they all came out, they all had to work, they all had to start with nothing and come here and build themselves up. If only they could see what their children have now been able to, let's see, maybe prospering, maybe not, from their hard work and their meager beginnings. Yeah. I think our parents and all new immigrants, everyone went through a very, very tough time to make a life for their children.
Yeah, well, it was very nice, listening to your story, and really thankful to you.
I'm not really good at this sort of
No,
thing.
no worries. It's just sharing your own story, and that's exactly what you did. You covered everything. So, thank you so very much for, and also thank you for sharing the old photos and the documents.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.